Hi, this is Alice Bull from scraphappy.org at Creativation 2019. I am here at the Catherine Pooler Designs booth with Catherine Pooler herself.
Hi.
Hello.
Excited to have you here.
I am so excited to be here. Now, the talk around the show floor is that you have amazing ink, and I needed to find out what's so special about your ink. So I'd love for you to give us a little bit of information about that.
Yeah.
I'm super excited.
I can talk about my ink all day long, so buckle up.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
So way back, I've been a crafter for over 15 years, stamping, and I had some frustrations with ink. And so when I decided to come out with an ink line, I didn't want to just come out with any ink line because there's ink lines already out there. So why would I just come out with the same thing? So I set out to do something a little different, and we started with color coordination. I was kind of frustrated because, well, not frustrated, but I just was in a rut. I would use the same colors all the time, and I realized it was because I didn't know how to put colors together in general. So I worked really hard to figure that out, and I put collections of colors together, and it makes it really easy for the stamper to sit down in her craft room and use our inks and use lots of different colors because we put the color collections together.
Well, honestly, there's nothing worse than sitting down and making a card and saying, this should have been good, but it's not quite right. And you can tell that something's wrong with it, but it's because you don't have colors in the right balance or something.
Yes, and I found myself using like the same 6 colors all the time because I didn't know how to put like a dusty rose. I didn't know what green it went with because you need, a dusty rose to go with an olive, and you need a lime green. That's not going to go with dusty rose. So, and then I also found a lot of inks run the gamut of the saturation. So we went black and white. Our inks are either highly saturated or they're low saturation. So there's no confusion really. And the way we put them in the collections, so we have the party collection. This is our vibrant saturated. So this is highly saturated colors. They all have party, fun, festive names like grass skirt because you're going to wear that to a luau.
Okay.
You're going to have the tiki torch at the luau. Although I found out that some people in other countries don't know what a tiki torch is. I think our Australian friends. So I had to explain it. They're like, what's Catherine talking about? She's weird. Flirty fuchsia, something borrowed, nods to weddings. So those are all fun, festive, bright colors. And then we have the spa collection. This is our muted, sophisticated color palette with low saturation level. And they're all spa, relaxing names. Peppermint scrub. You're going to have a cup of Mandarin spice tea at the spa. Shea butter. So it's really easy to figure out which goes with which. Now, advanced card makers or people who just like to play and experiment do mix the lines from time to time. Like rock and red, which is down here, really does go nicely with eucalyptus for a holiday card or a floral card. So don't lock yourself
the vibrancy of the red with the nice soft green.
Yeah,
I can see it.
Yeah. So color made easy.
Cool.
Yes. Then, let me show you some samples. So party and the same card, almost the same card, made with spa. Party and spa.
Yeah, you can see the vibrant, bright colors here and that soft muted tone there.
Yep. And
Perfect
then,
contrast.
Whoops, upside down. Party and spa. And again, party and spa.
Yeah, you definitely can see the different color tones. It looks really good.
Thank you. So the next thing I wanted to combat is splotchy images. So we chose to do our ink pads on a foam pad. These are squishy, so
don't even. You'll get your finger all
This is why I was a Smurf yesterday. So if you can see, when I push my finger down, it's smushy.
Oh my
And then look at the ink transfer.
Oh wow, that looks really good.
Yeah, so when ink transfers like this to a stamp, you're going to get a solid image when you stamp because the ink was beautifully inked, or the stamp was beautifully inked. So light love tap. Our friend Laurel calls this a love tap, so she's right over there. Hi, Laurel. So light love tap, you get a fully inked stamp. Look at that coverage. And then when you stamp, you get a solid image.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, seriously.
Solid image
It's
every
gorgeous.
time. That's exactly what you want, because you don't want to be stamping onto your project and be like, oh, that didn't work out.
Yeah, and that happens all the time. So this one, I was using my inks like crazy yesterday, and this ink pad is getting a little dry. So because the pads release ink so well, you're going to want to have the ink refills on hand. You can also do fun techniques with these, so you're going to get a lot of mileage out of these. So just gently squeeze the tip of your re-inker and gently rub it over the ink pad. And I always make sure people know to be gentle because these are foam and they will tear if you're rough. So a gentle hand, and I can use the same ink pads for years.
And these, like, you've just used like a tiny little bit of the
Yeah.
ink from that bottle, right? Like that, they last a long
Absolutely.
time.
Then a lot of times, because there's like stripies on here from how I just applied that, I'll usually take one of our blocks. We have rounded corners and nice indentations, so they're going to be easy on your ink pads, and I just kind of rub it over just to help distribute that ink a little bit. And then, before you wipe that off, if you want to take a blender pen, pick up that color, and then you can color with it.
Oh, that's so
And then
good.
you can do something like this.
That's beautiful.
This is our new kaleidoscope background stamp that comes out in February. Okay? And then just run it off on scratch paper, and then you can go into the next color. If you don't have Zig blender pens, you're going to want to get them. They're amazing. So it's like having a clear marker, and then you can pick up any color and have any color marker.
So you don't need a whole marker collection if you have all your stamps.
Yeah.
Or all stamp inks. Sorry, inks.
Exactly. Okay, so then a lot of people ask me for color coordinated cardstock, and we do not have that. All you need is a pack of white, because then you're going to take your ink pad, and again, gentle, you're just going to run it over your cardstock.
Oh, that's like super
And now I have
vibrant.
Mardi Gras cardstock, and it matches my ink perfectly. Because when you go from one, I mean, even our ink lids don't match perfectly because printing is different than stamping, and there's no way to get an exact match. So when you're doing cardstock, it's going to be hard to get an exact match. But when you do this, you get an exact match.
So I'm just already curious on the next step. If you emboss in that, how does
You want
that
to see that?
I'm just curious.
So-
Does it like pop up and like do you get the white or do you end up with the color? I'm just
All right,
you
so
know.
we have, where's my embossing glitter? Okay, so Wow, I'm a big fan of Wow embossing powder, and they made this embossing glitter for us. It's called Wanderlust. It's a clear glitter, and our inks stay wet for a few seconds. So when I ink it and stamp it, it's a little bit wet. I can pour embossing powder over it, clear or the clear glitter sparkle, and then I can emboss that. My heat tool is way over there, so
it's all good. You can already see how glittery it is, and that'll
Yeah.
just like clear up, and you'll have the color pop through, right?
yes. So you have an embossing powder to every ink color, basically. Yep. And I want to show you this sample. This is direct to paper, which I did here, and this is Samba, and that's Samba ink, so you can see it matches perfectly.
Perfect. Yeah.
Also, our inks are great for ink blending because they stay wet for a little bit. So take your ink blending tool. Let me grab Grape Crush. And then because they take a few seconds to dry, so you have a lot of time to play. So this is Flirty Fuchsia to Aquatini, and then when they mix in between, you get this gorgeous indigo color.
Yes.
They're translucent, and then you get all these unexpected colors when you blend them.
So super nice, and like because they're good ink, they will blend like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, this wasn't a lot of effort. And then look at this. Cindy Whitlow did this with our inks. Gorgeous.
Very.
And then they also have water reactive properties. So like ink smushing and water flicking. Maybe you ink blend and then, where's my water bottle? It's over there. But if I had my water bottle and I, did a few like water droplets on here, it would get that. I don't have any of my samples, but it gets that water reactive property. And here's another. Feathers embossed. And this is our Sauna, which is a yellow, and Daydream, which is a really great teal. And they mix in the middle to make that gorgeous green.
Oh, wow.
And then the embossing glitter is right over top.
It looks like you've used at least 3 colors on there.
Yeah. And then can I show you our black?
Yes.
Okay. So Midnight Ink is our black. It's very dark, very deep black. It is archival. It's waterproof. It is great with Copic markers.
Oh.
And when you stamp, it's very, like you can see how black it is. This does stain your stamps, and because our pads are squishy, just I barely even touch my ink pad, and that's enough. If you push down really hard, you're going to get ink in the nooks and crannies and it'll stain. So I always warn people, light touch.
Be gentle.
Easy. Because everybody's used to pushing down really hard on their ink pads.
Because the ink doesn't lift, right?
Yeah, it's hard to get a good, solid inked stamp. So just gentle. And then if you have any hand issues, it's just easy. Gentle and easy.
Like using the claw.
No death grips. No death grip required.
Awesome. This is wonderful.
Thank you.
So people can find these in stores, I'm assuming, but where else where should they go if they're looking for these inks?
Shop.catherinepooler.com. We have all of our inks there. And then we're in several dozen retailers around the world.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And more, because we have great reaction at Creativation.
Great. Well, thank you so much,
You're
Catherine.
welcome.
I love having the demo. I love seeing how the products actually work. So that's really
I'm
great.
glad I had a chance to show you.
This is Alice Bullett from scraphappy.org at Creativation 2019 with Catherine Pooler.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks.
You're so excited.
I am. I love this stuff. So what I do with Scrap Happy is we're actually a membership group for scrapbookers around the world.
Nice.
All of our stuff is online challenges, and we do our big events are the load challenges. So we do the layout a day challenge in February, May, and October. We scrapbook every day for a whole month.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
That is amazing.
So it's huge. And they're all themed. So the coming up one that we have, Load 219, or for February of 2019, is ruby red scissors, inspired by the Wizard of Oz.
Cute.
And so every day there's a story prompt and a technique prompt. And so the story prompt can be something like, we're going to scrapbook inspired by the Scarecrow. Tell a story about brains or intellect or something smart on your page today.
Oh, I love it.
And then we also bring in a technique prompt or a color prompt. And with that part, it's like use something a little rustic on your page to kind of go with this whole Scarecrow look. Or for the ruby red slippers, we'll have one that's, we're going to use red and sparkle, of course.
Oh, nice. I want in on that one.
So super fun. Every day has that inspiration, but our whole goal is to get people actually using their products because we all know we like to buy stuff, but sometimes it's really good to actually use it.
Yeah.
So rather than go on a spending freeze, because that's boring.
Yeah. No one wants to do that.
I always like to get people doing their stuff, using their products. So that's our whole goal with Load.
Do you do prizes?
We do prizes. We have random prizes through the month. We have a grand prize at the end of the month. And everybody that finishes every day of the challenge gets like a little finisher's prize. It's kind of just a little pat on the back to say job well done.
Good. Well, I have some things that maybe you can give away as prizes to your friends.
Oh my gosh, I would love that so much.
Some orange twist ink pads.
Oh my gosh.
Really pure, awesome orange color. And our sweet dye.
Oh, thank you so much.
Definitely great for scrapbooking.
There's
lots of things that you can scrapbook about being sweet.
Like sweet and orange. How perfect is that together?
Yes.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So if anyone is interested in the Load Challenge and joining our fun that we have for the Ruby Red Scissors Challenge, pop over to scraphappy.org and check out the Load 219 link. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.